Hi, this is our second Cook With Me video. This is the second in the series. Actually, it's going to be kale and cabbage salad. I started this series, I had the idea running around in my head for a little bit since my kids are all getting older and will be leaving the nest soon. I realized I have run out of time to teach them some of our family favorites and even some basic cooking things. Even though I love to cook, or sometimes, I just realized with life we just couldn't fit it all in. So today we're going to do kale and red cabbage salad. This is a recipe I have been doing for close to 15 years, and it's very forgiving, and it's easy, and 5 out of 6 of us like it in the house, so that's good. It's great for potlucks, great for picnics, great for gatherings of family and friends. It can stand out at room temperature for a while, and it's very good refrigerated. It lasts several days. It's very hearty, and it's delicious. So it's very simple ingredients too, overall. Your basic ingredients are going to be kale, and I prefer using the curly kale versus the lacinato dinosaur kale, although you could do that. You could use the red curly kale, the green curly. So this is just a green curly kale. You'll need lemon, some red onion, and red cabbage. So those 4 items are the base of your salad. The dressing on top of it is what makes it. So you'll need some vinegar of some sort. I like using the natural rice vinegar because it's very mild flavor, not too acidic, and certainly you could use white vinegar or something like that. I would stay away from balsamic and red wine vinegar. I think it would alter the taste because you're using sesame oil. The other ingredient is a big one, is some sort of tamari or soy sauce or liquid aminos. So I'm going to show you, we're not using all of these for this one, but here's one. I have used it with this Kikkoman makes a 50% less sodium gluten-free soy sauce or tamari. I usually have purchased in the past Eden. I think also Eden brand makes it 50% less sodium, and it's also gluten-free, which is a plus. You can also use this liquid aminos, which is a coconut aminos, and this has garlic flavor on it. So that's another good one, which would do fine for this recipe. Or you could use Bragg's liquid aminos. For this one, we're not going to use the Bragg's right now. I'm probably going to use the tamari. You will also need sesame oil, and you will need extra virgin olive oil of some sort. So really those things, you could add salt if you want to, but I find that because these items right here are quite salty, especially these two, even 50% less sodium is high for the sodium content. The sodium content is 490 for a tablespoon, so that's still really high. Bragg's liquid aminos where is it? Sodium is 320, and you're like, oh, that's good, but it's a teaspoon. So 3 teaspoons make a tablespoon, so this is even higher sodium than this. The coconut aminos is only 60 milligrams of sodium for a teaspoon, so if you triple that, that's 180 milligrams. So this is probably, if you're really having to watch your sodium intake, this might be your best bet. I don't know if this is going to be quite as strong in terms of flavoring as these other two, but right now we're going to be using this. So I will go ahead and chop everything up and come back and tell you what the quantities are. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. So this was the whole head of kale. I took off the ribs, and I want to show you quickly how you can do that, but You can see I cut it up into small pieces. It's not tiny, but it's not big honking pieces, which I don't like to eat in a salad. But I have over here you can actually see the change in color. And that's because, again, you have to do this one-handed, that you would take it off, take the leaves off, and you can chop it up. I would see this comes with a stalk or a rib, they call it. You're not going to use that part. So you can either chop it off with a knife and then chop up your kale, or you can just rip it off with your fingers. This is very hard to do one-handed. You just rip it off with your fingers, and yeah. So now you got the pieces. I have to go back, and you can just pull these apart with your fingers that you want to do, or you can chop them up like I did. So I'm going to take out some of the pieces here and make these. I'm going to chop these up so they match what's here, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Another thing I want to point out is, now the recipe did say that you could just make up your dressing, throw it together, and that's it. But I find that massaging the kale beforehand softens it a bit. Some people like to massage it with, put a little bit of sea salt on it. And then basically massaging is just basically going like this with your hands. Now your hands will get all green from it, which is okay. My hands were green and pink earlier because I was touching these two things and massaging the kale. In this case, I only massaged it with nothing, just my hands, no salt or anything, because the dressing is going to have quite a bit of sodium salt in it already. This was the cabbage. You can see that this was not a real big head of red cabbage to begin with, so I only used half of it. If you have a larger crowd and you need it to go further, then throw in more cabbage. This was about half of the red onion, the small red onion. It wasn't a big one. You saw it before. So this can be pretty pungent. So you may actually only want to put a little bit in and then add more as you go along. So basically with this, you just simply dump all three items. I've got a little bit more here. Dump three. Now I'm not going to put all of it in. I am going to put maybe that much in, and I'll save that and see how it goes. Those are the three items that you're going to need. Now we have to get on into the dressing, which was everything else. So to make the dressing, I like to use one of these ball jars with a lid, and then I shake it up. But if you don't have a jar with a lid, you can certainly use a larger bowl with a whisk. But make sure your bowl is deeper than you think you're going to need, because as you're whisking, it's going to be, it can spill out. So this was 3 tablespoons of sesame oil, 4 tablespoons of the rice vinegar, 4 tablespoons of the tamari, half a cup of olive oil, and this was the lemon that I squeezed. So depending on the size of your lemon, this was a pretty good lemon actually for that size. This is probably about a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. But depending on the size of your lemon, if you have a really big lemon and it gives a lot of juice, then you may not need as much as that. So that's roughly a 1/4 cup. All of these things are to taste as well. That's what's great about the salad and the dressing, they're to taste. I tend to like to make a double batch of this, and that's what I'm making now. That way we will only put a little bit on, and if we need more, we'll add it on. So I will pour everything into, if I can do this one-handed, I'm going to pour everything. That's the 3 tablespoons of sesame oil. This is 4 tablespoons of vinegar, rice vinegar. White vinegar is fine too. 4 tablespoons of tamari. And again, you could use the other items if you don't want to use tamari. This was half a cup of the extra virgin olive oil and my lemon juice. And now I'm going to put the lid on and shake that up. It's because you're trying to emulsify it. It will get thicker as you shake it. Just a minute. So here is shaking up. Sorry for the wiggle, but I'm shaking it up, and you can see it's it's pretty watery, and it changes it's a nice color. So you're going to taste test this. If you find it's too oily, you can add more vinegar stuff, or you can add a little water to thin it out. If it's too vinegary, you can add a little more oils. It's really up to your liking. So I'm going to taste test this, and then we'll pour it over the salad. Just a minute. Okay, so I poured most of it on. It tasted good without any more additions. So you can see it was probably up to my thumb before. Well, maybe not quite that high. Probably up about that much. And it's, so I put probably 2/3 of it into the container. I'll stir it up, and we'll see if we need a little bit more. And I've got my hand dirty. Okay, so I finished stirring this up. It's so dark, I'm sorry. We're actually it's getting close to dinner time. So we actually want to start eating this. So if you can see, I will try to bring it over to the better lighting. Ah, there, it's much better. So it is a salad. I didn't put any more dressing on. If people want to add a little more, that's what I like to keep it on the table, and they can might be a really nice addition to this. Would be maybe some red peppers chopped up. You could add in pepitas, which are pumpkin seeds. You could also add in some sunflower seeds or some sesame seeds. That might be a nice addition as well. So I hope you like this. If you give it a try, tell me if you like it or not. Kids, I know you will like it, and this will be a great addition to your repertoire for cooking. All right, thanks for visiting, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time, hopefully with another Cook With Me video. All right, bye.